And what are these things indeed? And what they are they're still life tables. They're supports for the planks that you see back there, or whatever boards I chose to put on them. And they were made by my friend Floyd Woodbeck, who worked out what I needed so that I could raise these up. They're in the other room, the actual thing, in my studio. I could raise it up to bring the still life objects to eye level, or how far below or how far above. And if we can digress for a moment, I can show you the emotional impact of the eye level. Now the eye level is a crucial thing. It follows your up and down, of course. It's a horizon line. I mean, perspective is absolutely based on it. The horizon line here is up above. But I've done something that I do intentionally. I break the single station point because I want you to be free to move around as you do in life around these objects, and to stand at the painting and look at it here and stand over here on the side, which a Renaissance painting, you give you a fit. You're not supposed to do that. You're in one point, do you see? But the orthogonals here will not meet. That's all of these diagonals of the board will not meet at a point, and they're not meant to meet at a point. So they open up the space. And I think they give you, in terms of the drawing, perhaps a more acute sense of space than one would have it if one had a perspectival checkerboard, Aikens-like laid out space. The sense of space, the actual tangible sensation of space. Then you have the color aspect of it working too, because this is all observed color. And you might say there's a difference in point of view here between this and, I would say, classical painting, which starts with the object. And the object is an apple or a bowl or whatever it may be. And that's where you begin, and then you make it a beautiful bowl or a beautiful apple, or you do whatever you do with it. I start with the thing as a complete abstraction. I get my head out of the way as far as I possibly can. I'm looking at pure terms of how light for how dark, how warm for how cool, how sharp an edge. Yes, we'd agreed to talk about the end game because as recently as yesterday I was putting small touches of paint on this painting, which has occupied me the entire summer. What happens at the end is not perhaps what the layperson thinks happens, a kind of a tickling up in the finish. It's getting the whole big idea. And you would say, oh, you mean you don't have the whole idea in hand from the very start? And the answer is no, you don't. And I don't think artists do for the most part. You are working like a tennis player or a juggler with balls in the air, so many different things going on, and they are put together in the end, not conceptually as an idea or a set of ideas, not as a verbalized statement, but as a painting. And finishing a painting is like a work of dance. It's a case of balance. And what happened in here is that I had all summer long, and Annetta, you commented on it, this very intense dried pomegranate, very intense deep reddish purple. And I needed it in the setting, in the studio setting here, because of all of the grays and the browns. I needed something really jarring, something that was just powerful. But when it came to the painting, I had it drawn in here. First I thought it was too big, and I took a razor blade and I trimmed off some paint and made it smaller, and then I saw, no, it all had to go out. It was too intense for the painting, and it didn't belong, so it went out. And over the last week or two, I've been working with chalk and charcoal and making little adjustments which have just been carried out in paint. I had this a little too dark in here. It was too powerful, a contrast. It's like an extra entrechat beat or something that had to come out, so I lightened a little. In here, I had a little static in here. It was light in there. The speed of the orthogonal in here, how strong it was. Again, like a case of balance, so that was strengthened. Over in here, I had a particular set of problems because The light is coming from the left, from a window in here, and this is all more or less in obscurity. These are actually ice tools, a tong, peavies, things of that sort in there, which are not brought out. They're in the shadow. But I had too much shadow, so that you didn't read the space. And I felt that you fell off, and I had to work with it, back and forth, work with it, to exactly how strong this was to be or not. Small touches, and the crucifix, because a crucifix is very powerful, symbolic. It could have been the Star of David. I mean, it could have been something else, but an iconic kind of thing of that sort. How strong to make it, and having done some crucifixes as kind of centerpieces of the painting, I wanted to keep this back. This is actually in the literal center. This is back, and when my wife first saw this painting near completion, she didn't even notice there was a crucifix in it. But I had to strengthen a little bit of shadow under here. Again, a case of balance like these other elements in here. So when you get away from the piece, what I think you have here is a space composition. When Laurel Tracy came a couple of days ago, my gallery dealer, and the first thing she said when she saw this is, I could put my hand through this support for the table in here, which is exactly what I want. I wanted you to feel the space composition.